Hello, my name's Charlotte. I'm back again, and this time I want to give our landlords some 5 top tips for renting their property out. So the first is to take out a rent and legal protection policy. Now, with the world and the way it's going, it is so important to protect yourself and protect your income, because if a tenant does find themselves in a situation where they can't pay their rent, or perhaps they can't pay their rent and they're also damaging your property, it is so vital to have yourself protected so that you can guarantee and maintain your income, but also ensure that your legal fees are covered in the event that you do need to evict the tenant. Now, legal fees can cost quite a hefty amount, and it takes many months to achieve a successful eviction, at which point your loss of rent is gaining each month and the damage to the property is also worsening. So you are heavily exposed in that scenario, and a rent and legal policy will cover you for that. Now, you're probably looking about 2% of the annual rent for a cost, but it is heavily advisable, and it is something that if you want that extra peace of mind, then go for it and have it in place, because when you do need it, it will be invaluable. The next top tip is to budget for a void period in your property for 2 to 4 weeks per year. If you don't have long-term tenancies or tenants that renew, this is a possibility whereby you could find yourself in a situation where your tenants are moving out every year. And in this, you do need to allow for the fact that it's not always feasible to have a tenancy end on one day and someone moving in the next day. They need to be cleaned, they need to be properly checked. If there's damage and extensive works that need doing, you need to allow yourself time to do this. And it isn't really fair for a new tenant to move into a property that isn't fit for human habitation. And of course, there is new legislation concerning that also. So just allow for this and be aware of this as a landlord, that time also allows you time to go into the property and do anything that needs doing and keep it well maintained. That moves me on to my next top tip, which is to make sure that your houses and flats are kept well maintained, they're modernised, clean and tidy. It just helps for a more secure tenancy, a more happy tenancy for both yourself and the tenant. And generally they're more attractive on the market, and where nicer properties are, tenants will stay longer. If they're happy there and they're comfortable there and they've got a nice landlord who they know that if something goes wrong will fix the problem, then they will stay there. Brings me on to my next top tip, which is you need to budget for about every 5 years to have the property redecorated throughout. This is just standard wear and tear, keeps the property fresh, and it just means that it is less work and less money going forwards that you have to spend on it. And finally, gas safety certificate. Now, this is a legal requirement, so I hope that none of you aren't doing this, as everybody should be, but your gas appliances in the property do need to be checked annually by a gas safe qualified engineer. So just make sure that anyone who is working on any gas appliance in your property, whether it be for the gas safety check or just disconnecting a gas cooker, they do have to have the proper gas safe license to do so. If you'd like to discuss any of these top tips or ways that you can improve your properties or keep them well maintained, I'll be more than happy to discuss this with you. Our number is 01227 767 200. Thank you. Bye.